Welcome back. I'm Patty Grabeau. Larry Gelbart's distinction spans the decades, beginning as a writer on the Danny Thomas Show in the 1940s, and then he went on to work with Sid Caesar on shows in the 1950s, worked with Milton Berle, Woody Allen, Neil Simons, Carl Reiner, produced and directed MASH. You think about Tootsie, oh God, funny thing happened on the way to the forum. We had a wonderful conversation with Mr. Gelbart. Take a look. Hey, Larry, thank you so much for joining us today. We're delighted that you're here. You have had a very illustrious career. You've worked in radio, you've worked in film, you've worked in TV, you've worked Broadway. What inspired you to become a writer?
Nothing. I mean, I didn't come from a house full of books, and I wasn't a very good student. But along the way, I had the opportunity to begin writing for radio, and so I took it like a flash. I wanted to be a musician.
You did?
Now I'd just be happy if I could pronounce the word. I wanted to become a musician. Yes, I did very much so.
What instrument?
Clarinet.
I played the clarinet
sax.
too.
Really?
Yeah, I did for many years.
We might have been working together
That's
today
right.
anyway.
We could do an Abbott and Costello as well.
Absolutely. And I was quite good at it, but I did have the opportunity to write for radio, and so I grabbed it.
How was MASH conceived?
MASH was conceived not by me, not even by Robert Altman. It seems strange to refer to him as the late Bob Altman.
Isn't that wild?
He was so vital. But the original novel was written by a doctor who served in the Korean War as a surgeon at a MASH unit, and he wrote a paperback about the characters that he worked with, thinly disguised with his own nicknames for them. And after, I don't know, no real success as a book, it was bought by Ingo Preminger, who was Otto Preminger, the director's brother, with the idea of making it into a film. 20th Century Fox did it as a film. And, you know, as I said, 20th Century Fox, that's the singular of Fox. It was a long time ago. And they...
I remember that.
Yeah, and they, along with CBS, decided to make it a series, and that's where I came into the picture.
It was remarkable. And I think it would do very, very well today if were it on the air because of what's going on in the world.
Well, as a matter of fact, it is on the air today. You know, it's always in rerun and syndication. Except I think we have such a different idea about what war is that I'm not sure it would quite hold up. It's not grim enough.
That's true. Well, I mean, things have changed so much from when even from 10 years ago. When you look at all the shows that are so popular, the reality shows, why do you think they've become so popular?
Because they're cheap to produce, and they deliver big numbers. And that's basically, I mean, the answer to almost every question in television or in the world is money.
Is money.
And they are very, very inexpensive to get out.
Where do you think television's going to go from here? Do you have any ideas?
No, I don't have any idea. And the truth is, I don't care where it goes as long as it doesn't follow me. I've been entertained enough, or bored enough, or both. Although some of it's quite good these days, I think, to be very honest. Not just honest. But where it goes is probably going into the computer or into a phone in a pocket near you.
Right, right. Immediate access for everything.
Absolutely.
Immediate
Absolutely. You make your own schedule.
Correct. When we were talking earlier, we were talking how I had worked with Charlie Sanford from the Show of Shows, and you worked with him as well when you worked with Sid Caesar. Charlie had some incredible stories about Sid Caesar. Do you have any stories about Sid?
He was more than a comic, actually. He was really, I mean, he could be a very baggy pants comic, and he could be, you know, a master of mime. He was a great performer.
I can't believe the way he could talk like he was speaking Spanish or speaking Italian or whatever.
He still can. Not much is left to him in the way of physical equipment, but he can still do that. He can still double talk any language to the point where you actually believe he's speaking the real thing.
It's wild. Now, with Tootsie and with Oh God, or just many things that you've written, have you had one particular person in mind ever when you were writing a screenplay?
Well, I knew that Dustin Hoffman was going to be play the leading role in Tootsie. I did not know that George Burns would be God.
And he was so perfect.
He was perfect. And
Perfect.
He was my first choice once the script was finished. No, actually, my first choice was I wanted to get Mel Brooks and Woody Allen, and Mel to play God.
That would have been wild.
Yeah, but Mel
Whole
didn't want
different
the demotion. Generally, it's not a good idea to write for an actor, because chances are you're not going to get that actor, and then you're left kind of high and dry.
Is there any one particular project you've enjoyed more than another?
Probably, but I'm always, whatever the project is at hand, I'm so involved in it that I think this is the best one or the most miserable one I've ever been involved in.
Are you working on anything now?
Yes.
What is it?
I don't know. No, I do know, but you know, so often you find yourself talking about projects which for one or more than 1,000 reasons don't happen. And I feel a little foolish, you know, saying or explaining why. If
you were going to give advice to students, what would you give them as far as they're becoming screenwriters?
Screenwriters? No, get out. Get out of the business.
Why?
Because screenwriting is probably the most difficult place for a really creative writer to aspire to. I mean, to screenwriting. It is a very, very difficult process these days. It's almost like football, where there's specialists. You know, you'll send in a runner, you'll send in a guard. Today, they have the need, or they feel they have the need for writers to provide the love aspect, the arc, the plot, that is, the action. In other words, teams of writers. So there's not much writing being done that comes from the writer.
In screenplays?
In screenplays.
And how does that compare to television?
I think television offers more of an opportunity for a writer to be himself, herself, to execute his, her ideas. I wish there was one common pronoun.
I do too. It'd make it a lot easier.
The writer is much more the king / queen in television. So that's a better play. And the truth is that so many people are cut out of the movie process, not just writers but directors and certain kinds of actors, that there's a lot of talent that's being diverted into television and producing wonderful stuff.
Welcome back. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here slacking. No, I decided that since we've had such a great time, I'm not working anymore. I'm a slacker, like Tom Lutz said. Stay tuned. We'll be back.